What is reality? A true spiritual practice is one that deconstructs our belief systems. Helpful metaphysical descriptions can be passed down, but the truth must be realized in each conscious manifestation. It can't be given to you. Who are you? Well, I am this particular manifestation of consciousness that you call Trav. I like to refer to myself as me or I. Trav believes you to be separate from him, and you seem to be quite convinced too about this idea of separation. Just who are you? It was upsetting to our friend Albert when he was told about faster-than-light communication, quantum entanglement. The man who had blown our mind was now having his mind blown. Spooky action! Albert didn't like it at all. Freud said, "Come on, guys, we can analyze our way out of this." Jung said, "Not so fast, Obi-Wan." Freud was Jung's teacher. There's often a fragile balance between strong teachers and strong students. The strongest teachers desire that their students transcend the teachings. The information that we have gained from the James Webb Telescope causes us to reach for a new way to describe astrophysics. What is reality? At the beginning of the 20th century, many physicists felt like we had just about wrapped everything up. Then along came this archetypal face, Max Planck. Now our thoughts are entangled with the quantum in our search for the unifying equation. What can we know, and how do we know it? There is a search for 12, a drive toward completion. The search for 12 is guided by the same layered intelligence which regulates our endocrine systems. How do we rest in that layered intelligence? Can a more natural wisdom be restored to us? Are we separate from our autonomic functions? What is reality? It seems the absolute materialist has no legs on which to stand. Have you discovered for yourself how much faith it takes to believe that matter is all there is? Have you taken that dive into absolute reason? Have you yet to discover how silly logic is? Logic is just as flimsy as those superstitious fables that we burned in the fire. There is no objectivity. Objectivity is just another superstition created by our storytelling minds. Max Planck said, "Both religion and science require a belief in God. For believers, God is in the beginning, and for physicists, he is at the end of all considerations. To the former, he is the foundation, to the latter, the crown of the edifice of every generalized world view." If you believe that I'm trying to convince you of the existence of God, please be assured I am not. I have no interest in such things. I am, however, quite interested in discovering together our common work. I'm interested in education. I'm interested in understanding the stories we tell ourselves, and I'm interested in how those stories are formed. Here at LNTEOW, we are a playful bunch. Our symbolic language can roar fierce like a lion, and we can sing gentle like a dove. We are wise like serpents. Moses raised up snakes in the desert. Our Lord's love was feared like a snake, and he was lifted up a serpentine spiral of DNA, a new birth, wise like a serpent, labor and the expression of worth. When I was born again, I was blessed by many who noted that I was free of a religious spirit. I was not programmed. I did not know the things that I was not supposed to say in church, and people appreciated that freshness. And I was also tapped in to the spirit of love and life, which was filling me with wisdom, which helped people to be assured that what was happening in me was God, as I was capable of this surrender that was not seen in me before. There was a great joining. I said yes to life. I met a woman. We got married quickly. We had children quickly. We tried to settle into traditional masculine, feminine roles. That really didn't work too well. Our weaknesses started playing against one another. We got into these roles. One was strong, one was weak. I was afraid to be too strong as someone who had come from a violent father-son relationship. So I was constantly repenting for my own strength, living with a woman who did not truly even have any kind of true desire for the masculine figure. We learn to speak of these things with grace in our heart. We learn to see the big picture. We understand where we all came from and what we're all rising up from. We're all trying to get to the bottom of this. And so in this way, we may look back upon those relationships that didn't work, and hopefully we can truly understand ourselves, and hopefully we truly have grace, love, forgiveness, hope in our heart for the healing of all, and compassion for those people with whom we were not able to work it out with. This is really important as far as I understand. What I'm trying to say is this. I was born to be a comedian. I just don't have my jokes yet. And so I'd really appreciate it if you would sit here with me just like this and let me develop my comic routine. I tried a lot of different hats on. And from what I understand, there's this cosmic joke that if we get really serious about, we get to laugh really hard. Yes, when I was born again, people were refreshed by something that was going on, something that Jesus was doing in the midst of this life. And I've been tapping into that again. And I've been tapping into that with you. We've been tapping into that love, into that life. So I can only see the light in you, and I can only see myself in you. I wish you well. I wish you strength. I wish you courage to draw from that deepest well. You are the love. You are the life. We are the way. We are to be a symbol in that way and to shine like a city on a hill. Travelin' Trav is a singer, songwriter, poet, essayist, metaphysical therapist, teacher, healer, father, and an advocate for the homeless and neurodivergent. He is an encourager, a deeply flawed human being, and a somewhat reluctant, yet grateful, follower of the one that we have called Jesus. Trav's working practice is now an integration of his diverse career experiences, which includes time in the military, police, academia, and physical therapy. His personal journey to overcome genetically inherited trauma makes him an expert on mental health issues and trauma recovery. Humanity is making the leap into the non-dual. We are moving beyond the binary into a more fluid state. This is evident in our most recent explorations of gender identification. In the depths of Christ, there is no male or female. Travelin' Trav is developing educational materials which encourage the alignment of our rational and mystical senses. These educational tools will help us to manage this species-wide transition in our consciousness. Together, we are developing a new language to describe this caramelized, dystopian world in which we live. Because we are stumbling toward our next evolutionary threshold, we must learn to both sing the blues and transcend the oppression that inspired the blues in the first place. we rise above our tendency to manifest as either the oppressed or the oppressors. Labor and the Expression of Worth is Trav's compassionate philosophical container which creates the necessary inner space to hold multiple perspectives simultaneously. Labor and the Expression of Worth is a context in which we may align our work with one another around our deepest common values. We must educate, strengthen, and encourage one another. Strengthening a tribe member deepens a tribe. Deep tribes can feed the world. It is essential that the consciousness level of our species is deepened. We need a new perspective from which to solve the diverse and many problems that humanity has created for itself. In order to raise our consciousness, we must encourage deep communication between the generations. Trav is reaching out to the generations who came before him and after him. Thank you for supporting Travel and Trav by contributing monthly through Patreon. Every little bit helps. May we discover our deepest common values together and align our efforts appropriately. The future of our species depends on it. Strengthening a tribe member deepens a tribe. Depth tribes feed the world. Sincerely, Travis Irwin.